Thank you. Welcome to the 6th edition of the International Women in Travel and Tourism Forum. Woo! It's very good to be here today. I remember 6 years ago in Iceland where a storm hit on the top of Reykjavik, causing major flight disruption. I don't know if some of you were there at that time, but what it has caused as well is that all the women who were supposed to be in the event made it somehow, including myself, but all the men canceled somehow. It's a true story. So can I just ask quickly to raise your hand if you identify as a man? Please, raise your hand. And can we do a massive round of applause for the men in the room? It's difficult. Times are difficult. We're going backwards, and we'll tell you a little bit more about that, and you'll hear more about that throughout the day. So it's important to recognize that we will not make changes without allies and without men allies in particular. So thank you for being here. I love this picture, not because I look weird smiling like I don't know what's going on, but because I'm surrounded by two incredible women. They are the Black Mambas. They are part of the only all-women anti-poaching unit in the world. And they're from South Africa, and they work in the reserve of Kruger to protect wildlife. And you will hear today from one of them. So I'm really, really looking forward to hear from Felicia, who's coming and joined us for the first time in London to share her story. That's going to be, I think, one of the highlights of the day. And I'm looking really, really happy because I spent the night wild camping with them, where just before going to bed, they were telling us the story of how they've met in the same place where we were pitching our tent, a herd of 20 lions the week before. So I was happy that I survived that night, basically. When I was preparing for this speech, I went back to my notes from last year, and I realized, if you remember, I talked about the beginning of the D&I backlash. That was on the back of US Supreme Court that ruled that US American university couldn't use race in their admission programs. And that was the very beginning of what we called at that time the D&I backlash. And I didn't realize that it would be just the beginning and that things will start to get worse. Since Trump returned to the White House, he ordered a shutdown of all federal D&I initiative, also urging the private sector to follow suit. So large corporations like McDonald's, Meta, Ford had to scale back or rebrand their D&I program as a result. In fact, and I need the clicker for that, 1 in 8 companies in the US are eliminating or reducing their D&I investments and programs. Here in the UK, thankfully, we are the law prevent large-scale decisions like these ones, but we're not immune. And in fact, this event has been impacted by some businesses that had also to pull back on their investments. In March, the US was awarded its lowest ranking, the UK was awarded its lowest ranking for workplace gender equality in a decade, according to The Guardian. Looking specifically at travel, the figures showed that, believe it or not, the pay gap has actually widened. And for roles paying more than £60,000, men out-earn women by almost 24%. Why does it matter? Why does D&I matter? Do we have to remind ourselves? Unfortunately, we do. And here we heard yesterday from the UN Executive Director here in the UK all the reasons why businesses needed to commit to D&I for commercial reasons. And I picked up 3 that I think are very important for this room in particular to take away. First, over 70% of consumers prefer brands that take a stand on social causes. Second, companies prioritizing D&I outperform their competitors by more than 35%. And third, and that's the most relevant for us here, 80% of travel purchase decisions are made by women. I repeat that. 80% of travel purchase decisions are made by women. D&I make businesses better. And it has made us at Intrepid better. And we're not perfect. We believe in progress over perfections. But we've seen it firsthand that the more we've invested in D&I, the more successful we became as a brand. We achieved record revenues in the last 4 years. We increased our global brand awareness. We boosted our customer and employee engagement to record levels. While many are going backwards, we see this as an opportunity to double down. So what have we done? I will just use 3 examples that I want to share with you of initiatives that we've done in the last year that has helped us to progress. The first one is the Lead Her program. This is a program that Alessandra, Women in Travel, and us have piloted last year, when we had a small group of female leaders or female who want to aspire to become female leaders, to follow a program that will help them to combat the barriers that will progress them to highest levels. The scheme is now in its second year, and it's proven very successful. In fact, 5 out of 15 women who took part in our pilot scheme have been promoted. And 2 of them are in the room today, I believe. Hazel Maguire, who is our newly appointed CMO. I can't see her, Hazel. And the other one is Jo Reeve, who is our newest appointed general manager for the UK. And there's just 2 out of 5. The others are in other parts of the world. We also have doubled down on our ethical marketing guidelines that help us to guide the imagery we use, the influencer we work with, the travel content creator we work with. And all of this enables us to represent our audience, the audience that we are serving, the 80% of women who make the travel purchase, because we don't necessarily know how to do that. And so we've learned a lot from this project, and especially one of them that I'm particularly proud of, which is the PIPOC mentorship trips for both content creator and travel writers that help encourage more diverse voices into travel. Some of them went into doing great things. One of the mentee of last year now works at National Geographic as a travel writer. The final example I want to share with you, we believe that our product can reduce inequalities in places where we operate. And we do that throughout our global range of products. But we also have a dedicated range called the Women Expeditions that have been created specifically to empower women in our supply chain. And last year, I talked about launching the newest version of it, which was the Saudi Arabia Women Expedition. At that time, we just launched it, so we didn't really know how it would resonate with our customers. In fact, it sold out very quickly. The first 7 departures sold out in a few weeks, and now we are planning to operate 17 of them, so more than double next year. So this is, again, a win for the customer, a win for the guides, a win for the supply chain, and the business owned that are taking part in these trips. Looking ahead, we have an amazing lineup of sessions. I'm really looking forward to hearing from WTTC CEO Julia Simpson, who I actually I had the privilege to meet earlier this week, and I found her leadership speech very, very inspiring. And I'm looking forward to hear from the insights that she's going to share, given her global view on the travel landscape. I hope. Oh, that's it. Joy, it was for me. Should I keep going?
I repeat, the fire alarm shall be tested shortly, and staff are required to take no further action at this time.
Okay. Well, I hope today can be a reminder for us all that despite what's going on in the world, we don't need to scale back or lie down. We can work together and create a truly inclusive travel industry. Thank you very much.